There it
there, it
goes.
looks like we're staring into robot penises. So.
Oh, from the camera? I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
honestly. The fucking we don't have like an intro or anything. I think we said the title of this like once. And this so
Well, we've transitioned to.
yeah. This is
So,
HoodRat and the Hooligan. No,
formerly known as Whiskey and Wiener. So,
yeah, I have all the videos up on the YouTube still. They're just on a separate
okay.
playlist.
Yeah, we figured it was a new year, new us. But that was.
After a 2-year hiatus, you fucking faggot.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. I mean, man, we've had a wild fucking like year.
Eh.
I mean,
No.
like,
it's been a wild 3 weeks since the new year started. Donald Trump is inaugurated tomorrow.
that and he lifted the TikTok ban today too, which was
Is it
great.
is it back then?
Yeah, it is because like when I signed
It's
up,
so stupid.
I went last night to go and just like scroll through my phone last night. You know when I got late, and I got this message right here.
Yeah. I
And
saw a bunch of poopy people posting about it.
oh well, then
Where'd you
when
park, by the way?
out on the street,
Okay, good.
I figured your wifey would be coming home soon.
Yeah, she gets
So
off in like an hour.
okay, gotcha. So um, what I thought is fantastic is I I was talking to mom earlier, and I was like, yeah, TikTok got shut down. Don't try to use it, but keep it on your phone because if they do reinstate it, all your shit will still be there.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
it's retarded that they're even taking it down.
oh yeah, and then I got a couple people sent me this. This was a couple hours ago, right here. This happened to be from a few hours ago. Read that message.
Welcome back. Thank you for your patience and support. As a result of President Trump's efforts, TikTok is back in the U.S. You can continue to create, share, and discover all the things you love on TikTok.
You watch and see if this shit just don't boost his numbers by 40 to 50%.
Well, Dave Chappelle did an SNL thing last night.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, or on Friday, I guess. But no, yeah, last night. He did like a monologue. It's like a couple minutes long, where he basically is talking about Jimmy Carter visiting Palestine in like the '90s, and like how everybody there knows who Jimmy Carter is, and they were like, "Woo."
Yeah.
Excuse me. And he said that Jimmy Carter, he doesn't know what makes a great president, but he could tell that Jimmy Carter is a great man.
Yeah.
And then he ends the bit by talking like directly to Trump and being like, "I mean it when I say this. Good luck. We're all counting on you. No matter who voted for you or not, we're all counting on you."
Well, what I thought was hilarious is that my grandpa decided to go on I'm going to say a minimum of 55 minutes. So let's just say an hour. And an hour rant. Like, I'm just sitting there the other night playing a video game, watching, keeping an eye on him, and he's like, you know what, Jason? I'm like, this is going to be good. Like, so when he starts it with that, it's going to be good.
Oh yeah.
And then
Welcome back to Meet the Press.
he went into basically an hour rant of how Trump is trying to change the Constitution and where he can run more than 2 terms, and everything else, and that he's putting tariffs and all this stuff, and that he went on a rant of the looters, like over in California, because of like the wildfires and natural disasters and everything like that, and he's like, well, Trump said he's going to stop that, being sarcastic, and I'm just like, Grandpa, where in the hell did you hear this fucking shit? But he went into an hour-long rant about this, unprovoked. Like,
I mean, it's provoked by the fact that he's old as shit.
you know what provoked him? Reading the fucking newspaper.
Yeah.
And now I kind of kick myself in the ass because I was the one that was like, here, Grandpa, I got you a newspaper today. Like,
Nice.
so
Gotta love that.
I was like, fuck, man. I got to stop doing that.
You gotta just keep giving him last week's paper.
Yeah. And, but never in the 34, it'd be what, 34 years on Thursday that I've been alive. Never in the 34 fucking years I've been alive, I thought that my grandfather would be that hardcore of a Democrat. even
Dude,
though
the news has like psyoped old people hard as shit.
you would just think that with his type of values, he would be like a conservative or Republican or something, but nope,
He's a
sure
Reagan
not.
Democrat.
That's like I try to explain to them. Democrats aren't, they're not for the working people like they used to be.
No, the party. There, no one's truly for the working people.
I'm talking about just compared to what it was.
Oh yeah, I know.
So,
They're not, but none of them are truly for us. They're for our they're supposed to be for our benefit, but they're really just for their own financial gain.
well, I mean, really, if you want to be technical, and I'll kind of die on this hill, is that back when I was young in the '90s, I still remember mom and dad and everybody talking about it. But Clinton actually did a decent job as a Democrat. There was some things I didn't like, but he did stand by a lot of beliefs and that were good
The
for the
only negative
people.
thing people say about him is that he was fucking.
I can give fuck less about that.
Yeah,
But I mean, I understand the president is held to a higher standard than most people. But I mean, look, if I had a wife like Hillary too, I would have probably done the same shit.
yeah, marriage of convenience.
I mean, I'd have to throw a bag on that head just to go to fucking sleep every night.
They don't sleep in the same bedroom, buddy.
I'm telling you,
First of all,
I'm
then
telling,
I don't even think they sleep in the same
I'm
house.
telling you, I'm gonna try to provoke Grandpa going on a rant about Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi again. I'm gonna, you know what? I think I'll do that tonight. I'm gonna provoke him to go on an hour and a half rant of him saying how he wants to bang Hillary Clinton, and I'm gonna post it on here. So,
Yeah, you give me the audio, I'll throw it up.
oh,
That's funny.
I'm telling you, man, I still don't think I've ever laughed that hard in my life when I heard that. But so I
He's
was,
probably thinking of Hillary back when she was Hillary Rodham, when she was like in her early 30s.
yeah, I
Because
mean,
she wasn't, I mean, for the time, she wasn't like bad looking.
no, she wasn't. She really wasn't.
Like
And
her daughter looks like inbred. Her daughter looks like one of the fucking British
oh, Chelsea
royals.
Clinton,
Yeah, she
yeah.
looks like one of the British royals.
Every time I hear Chelsea Clinton's name, I kind of think of the Bloodhound Gang back in the early 2000s and late 90s when they were, making a song about wanting to get with her and stuff. That's all I
Yeah.
can think of. But I know we put this off for a couple days due to weather and other personal reasons.
You have the worst scheduling skills on the planet, and people don't stop bothering you.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I do enough shit for about at least what an average person would
you're
do for
like
a
the only
week.
person in your family that has motivation for anything and the ability to leave the house apparently, unless it's for drugs.
True. And I mean, I'm running out of that energy slow, but I'm trying to keep it up.
Okay.
But I definitely. That's why I said today. I was like, you know what? Now I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna do this because by the time I got home last night, I was like, fuck, I completely forgot we had
Yeah,
to do
it's all
this.
good. I
Like,
was like, if he doesn't text me by like 7, I'm just gonna shoot him a text and be like, "Did you forget?"
yeah, but
But I mean, like it's not like you haven't been unproductive. We got your car down to the shop. Now we
yes.
just got to get the engine.
Now we gotta get the engine. That's it. Then hopefully it'll be a couple weeks. I do got a feeling that it's gonna tack on about an extra week and a half because just the amount of missing hardware from what the other guy did.
I honestly think it's just gonna be the weather that slows him down because he's not gonna want to work in
It's
it.
true.
And
And
it's supposed to be 0 degrees tonight. Like I'm gonna set up a space heater in the kitchen because my water pipes are on the outside wall there. So I'm gonna set up a space heater to keep that area warm so they don't freeze.
well, I can tell you now that so
And
as
then I
we
get to go to work in that.
as you know, I will be out until the weekend. So heads up, we will not be posting one and probably until about Sunday.
Unless you swing by on Tuesday.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, we could do
Because I
that.
can throw this one up tonight, and then we can record on Tuesday, and I can throw that one
Yeah,
up on the
yeah,
normal day.
yeah, we can do that for sure. And then I'll be gone from Wednesday to Sunday. I think that I'll be back probably Saturday, maybe Friday at the earliest. But I'm saying
Fuck that.
someday.
Don't come back until the weekend.
I know, and that's what I've been telling everybody. I was like, I'm not gonna come back till Sunday. Like, that way I can kind of get
Yeah,
my
and
own
just fucking
space.
throw your phone on goddamn airplane mode.
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. I'm turning off all data and cell phone signal. Look, it doesn't
It,
stop,
yeah.
But and then I'm only gonna be reachable through Messenger and Instagram and TikTok. That's it.
Yeah.
But that being said, like I had a few things like prepared this time
I
around.
figured you were just gonna rip about the Sonic games.
No, like I've been having a lot of fun with them and everything. Like it's fantastic. I mean, it's a big part of my childhood, obviously.
Yeah.
But with the newer game, like I will say this that like playing Sonic Frontiers, you can clearly see that it's paired more to the adults that grew up with it, and that's what that game was made for.
Well, it's probably made
And
by autistic people that love Sonic.
yeah, and it's like it's a darker style and like very like exponential in the story and and all. You could tell it was made for the adults who grew up playing it,
Yeah.
and that's great because you don't really see a lot of games like that nowadays. So, but yeah, I'm having a blast with them. I mean, going back and playing some of them, going on trophy, the platinum trophy hunts. So, I think I'm up to like
I'm like the opposite from you in the sense where you are a completionist with games and stuff, where I have fucking 300 games in my Steam library and probably like 50 of them are
oh
completed.
no, I'm telling you, man, like I've got you know what? I have to show you. I mean, it's hard for me to explain it, but I'll show you the
I'm
list.
actually in the middle. While you pull that off, I'm actually in the middle of redoing my entire computer setup to make it smoother for the podcast, and so stop filling up all my storage on my fast hard drive with the podcast videos
Oh,
and
that's
stuff.
cool. Well, like to give you an idea, because we do the trophy hunting for the platinum trophies for PlayStation,
Yeah,
PS3, PS4, PS5,
yeah,
and so I do that in conjunction with the Lost Paladin, which is Steven, and we promote his channel all the time, and the Lost Paladin plays on YouTube. Go check him out. And this is the list of platinum trophies that we need to get, and you can scroll through it and see how many games are there.
Oh Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Um,
and that's only part of
like
it.
how they're alphabetical.
Yeah, yeah. But
Nice.
that's, I mean, that's part of it. That's not
Yeah,
even like,
that's literally like 30
yeah.
right off rip 30 games.
But I'm the type of person that's like, okay, I did a good example is like I did The Walking Dead, like the Telltale series.
Yeah.
So I completed all of the Walking Dead platinum trophies for that. If I get it for like the way I look at it is if I play more than one game in a series, I'm gonna do the whole fucking thing. And might as well.
Yeah, that's why I have
And
a bunch of series games I'm gonna do gameplay of.
and like right now I'm on Resident Evil and Sonic. So yeah. But it's pretty fun. But and not only that, I mean, Sonic is just I've got ADHD up the ass, you know that,
Oh
and
yeah,
it pairs perfect for my ADHD, man.
yeah.
It's like a big reliever for me. But no, I had a couple things prepared, um, and one of them was actually a video that I had come up. And I know we talk about this all the time, like with AJ with Y Files, which go check him out. I mean, awesome fucking channel. We love him here. The Y Files on YouTube,
Yeah,
absolutely incredible.
fantastic.
Yes,
It only
and
get if because I start when I find new stuff, I start at the beginning and I go through the whole thing. Then his only gets progressively better.
yeah, and then on top of that, he's got the podcast on Spotify and everything else. And
What do you want me to pull up?
well, I don't know if I've got it saved or not, but it I know we've talked about like the flat earthers and the ice wall and everything like that. Have you ever heard of the snowman globe theory?
The theory that we're in a snow globe?
No, 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 no. Snowman globe theory.
No.
Okay. So it it's more along the sense of what the flat earthers believe, but there's a little bit more sense to it than a flat Earth. Um,
You talking about how we're on a big giant planet
so
that has ice rings?
we are in their theory, the way they explain it, and I thought this was extremely interesting. You have Earth, which is at the very top, that would be the head, and then you have two other realms, which are globes that are under it and below that one as well, and they are separated by an ice wall in each like where they join,
Right.
and so there's pathways through it. It was interesting. I don't believe it, but it was cool to listen to.
I like to
Yeah,
think of those things kind of like how the Earth. I think the Earth is more like a Russian nesting doll.
that's kind of what this is. That's kind of what he's thinking about. And like,
Whereas, like, because it's the Antarctic Treaty stuff is really wild. Because I read the whole treaty
mm-hmm,
because I know a guy whose grandpa owned a bunch of land in Antarctica before they had the Antarctic Treaty. He was able to buy land in Antarctica for pennies on the dollar because it was a newly discovered continent.
which I still to this day believe that there's something going on down there. I
Of
mean, they
course,
they
because that's
can't
what I'm
put that
getting
in
at.
that, you
That's what
know.
I'm getting at is the government. This guy was funding an expedition to go down to Antarctica and
Mm-hmm.
strike oil and look for oil fields, and the government fucking confiscated all his land, sold it back, so like gave him the money for it at like a tenth of what it was worth, and then said you're not allowed to go there. And then he was like, "Fuck that, I'm gonna go anyway." And he went to South America, and um, when he was trying to get his crew and everything together, the South American government was like, "You're not allowed to go there." And then they like after that, like a week later, while he was still trying to fund his thing, the treaty was ratified, and it was like nobody's allowed in South Africa. Nobody's allowed in Antarctica except for specific areas that are guided. You have to be
Yeah,
there
it's only
guided.
approved places, and all that. Well, here's what I was talking about. Just that's the thumbnail for it. Do you see what I'm talking about now?
Yeah, I get what you
Yeah,
mean.
it's really, I I know it's not true, but it's interesting.
Yeah,
And
well, so apparently Elon Musk went on Rogan's Rogan's podcast a few months ago, talking about the discovery of a new ocean within our crust.
Mhm.
Which cool.
Yeah,
I think that's cool. It's entirely plausible. The crust is full of water. Um,
I still believe in the hollow earth theory. I think that is plausible.
it's definitely
So,
plausible, especially like we live in Ohio, which is there's so many cave systems around here.
oh
It's not even
yeah,
funny.
I mean, look at the what they do that one every year, the Lewisburg haunted caves. Look
Yeah,
how
I've been
deep it.
there,
Yeah, look how deep this shit goes.
dude. It. You forget that you're like underground when you're going through that haunted
Oh
cave
yeah,
until you
yeah.
open up into a big like area where they show you that it's underground. 'Cause it all just feels like you're in a big building.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many underground like mysteries and nightmares that I'm just like, it's clearly like something's going on
Yeah,
beneath the surface because there's people have done like the overlays of maps for like the cave systems and like the missing people,
yeah. I have seen
and
that.
it like
Yeah,
lines up perfectly.
it is. It's crazy how a lot of it like aligns up perfectly. I mean,
There's a tribe of recently contacted South Americans in the rainforest that talk about a species of ant people that they've communicated with historically for as long as they can remember through their history.
well, what you me were just talking about um the one that AJ just posted recently on Wi-Fi was about Lacerda, and that was by far one of the most interesting videos I've watched him do.
Yeah, the
And
Lacerda Files is wild. Like the way because I listened to it a few times. Just because I'll listen to things at work and then I'll come home and I'll listen to it again just and actually pay attention to it.
mhm.
Um, and like because like obviously there's no way to verify this information, but like it's all stuff that's been talked about for the last like 150
Yeah,
years,
that's true.
and it's really not that far fetched.
No.
I believe that there's people that live underground more than I believe aliens because everything that the government talks about with aliens, they don't say aliens, they say non-human.
Hmm.
They don't say extraterrestrial, they say non-human origin.
Yeah, there's very like little documentation that shows anything that says actually like extraterrestrial. It's always
I was
non-human logical bio or non. It's biological non-humans. I think is the way they say it.
Yeah,
But
and I tried finding the story because I saw like a snippet of a news clipping about this guy that's in Congress right now. I mean, not like right now, but he's been going to congressional sessions trying to get NASA to be investigated because he's got all this proof of them lying to uh, everyone about like the ISS space station
mhm. Well,
because all there was like see, I think they're still stuck up there
well,
technically.
not only that, they did. They had another incident happen this past week where they were cutting the feed because something come into the frame apparently. So,
Yeah,
which
and
is
like you,
like,
I saw the videos of like the astronauts on the ISS getting tangled in what looks like invisible wires of like the green screen behind them fucking up,
yeah.
people disappearing. Like, so they're faking something. They're obviously faking certain things, and if they're faking like all this ISS live feed stuff, like just so people don't really know what's going on up there,
Hmm.
that's a bit crazy.
Yeah, it is.
'Cause what the fuck is the ISS then?
Well, I mean, look, I mean, they've been up there that long, and you know, you look at all the satellites that we have and everything like that, and then you got something like the Black Knight satellite that's been up there for what they estimate 250,000 years,
Yeah,
and like they can't get close, or if they've gotten close to it, they sure as fucking showed nobody. And they're like, oh, it's a piece of space debris. Like,
there's a fucking
okay,
there's a gravitational pull in the middle of the asteroid belt beyond Mars that we can't see on like
that's what
telescopes.
they Planet X is what
Yeah,
they thought in that area. Yeah,
it's
and
there's something there
could very much be the case.
because
And then
there's it's like the Star Wars thing, right? When Obi-Wan Kenobi's looking for the planet Camino, he's like, "This is the coordinates I was given." There's the gravity well of a star, but there's no system there.
mhm.
What does that mean? It means somebody erased that star system from the map.
Well, then I'm trying to
So if
think.
we can sense gravity waves there, we can detect there's a planetary mass there, but we can't see it. There's something preventing us from seeing it.
Well, like they were talking about recently, I think it was Neil deGrasse Tyson that I had seen that was talking about it, where he said that I mean I could be wrong if I remember this, but it was him or somebody else that said that with the satellite photos that we have had from the space telescopes that we have and everything like that, that there's a possibility that one of the star systems that it has artificial light, and the
Hmm.
way that it looks
Yeah, I've seen
shows
the
that.
planet with city
Well,
lights.
no, they said that there's one that looks like it's a Dyson sphere,
Oh
which
yeah, I've
is
seen that
a
one.
level 2 civilization. And because I think we're at like what 0.4, point 0.5 on the level of
Which
civilization.
is I believe that they're so retarded to classify civilizations like that.
No, it is. I agree. But I mean, the concept of the Dyson sphere. I mean,
Because we don't even
yeah,
have a proper like definition of consciousness.
that's
We
true.
don't know what defines sentience because mushrooms are sentient by our current standards in the
Hmm.
scientific community, but nobody considers them sentient beings, even though
Well,
they communicate way more than
yeah.
humans
Well, they
do.
have like a hive mind type. Like I mean, look at cordyceps. I mean,
Yeah,
that was the whole theory about like with the way that they built The Last of Us, the
yeah,
video game and the show, and then it's because of the
and that's
cordyceps have
real.
a
That's a
hive
real
mind and they
thing.
communicate with everything, and so I mean, yeah, because they got that idea from that. I mean, so it's not too far fetched to see that. I
No,
mean,
mushrooms are evolving at a rate that exceeds pretty much everything else except for like maybe sea animals
very true.
because they're constantly like the ability like that specific cordyceps zombie mushroom went from insects to small mammals
Hmm.
in a very short period of time where we had only perceived it in insects for as long as we've known about it and then within the last 5 years it's been able to transfer to mammals.
Yeah.
which is wildly fast evolution.
Well, it just, I don't know, man. There's been a lot of shit coming to light just like over the past year when it
Yeah.
comes to all these different topics. So it's just like, oh shit, okay. So we're gonna learn about this year apparently. Like,
And they like giving us a little hamster drip of fucking information
mm,
about it, and it's so stupid because like just they use the fucking curtain excuse of national defense
yeah,
to not release all this special information, and then people that talk about it, or people that want to talk about it, get killed.
I'm so tired of hearing national security risk.
Shut the fuck
I'm so fucking
up.
tired of hearing it, dude. And
You want to talk about a national security risk? We just had some type of either false flag test event, which is what I think it was, or we were doing an active defense from some type of attack and it failed, and that's why Los Angeles burned to the ground.
okay,
Because while Los Angeles was going through a fucking heat wave and high winds, the East Coast was going through a crazy fog that turned into this hellhole winter storm we're
oh,
in.
that's right. I did hear about that fog. I forgot about that.
It was foggy as shit here for a few
It
days.
was. It was absolutely.
Like crazy fog. Like I couldn't see the hill when I would go to work in the morning. I couldn't see the hill that's
Yeah.
100 meters down the road.
Hell, when I get up and leave for the day, even in the morning, you're talking 10:30 in the morning. It was foggy as shit. You couldn't see nothing. Maybe you can maybe see
And
10 feet in front of you.
the theory behind it, right, is that the fog dis- uh, disrupts energy weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Can't. It's like the same way it disrupts like radiation from the sun. It's going to disrupt any directed energy that's intended to cause harm.
Yeah.
It's going to diffuse it. It's why your lights don't work in fucking fog. It just diffuses it too much, and it's too much to penetrate through. So while that was happening, because everything that started with LA, like all three wildfires started at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't fucking happen.
Well, it doesn't really help when I've seen what 2, 3 videos of
Of
people.
lasers making impact.
Well, that too,
I've seen a
but
lot of those.
it doesn't really help with other things too. And I know this could be completely unrelated, but you know, they found a couple illegal immigrants that have been like out there with blowtorches, like
A
trying to
lot of
like,
homeless people too.
yeah, like I was like, what?
There was a bunch of teenagers in the Palisades that set their shit on fire. Like just threw a can of gas out the side of the road and threw a fucking match at it.
Well, I watched one video of this guy. He was here illegally, couldn't speak English, all this, and then he took a blowtorch and was trying to start a wildfire. This dude beat the fuck out of him, dude.
Hell yeah.
Like beat the ever living shit out of this guy.
I got friends that live in LA. Like they're like a couple of them have been going around making sure like their neighborhoods are like straight or whatever. And like there's been a lot of homeless people that are just getting their shit rocked for having like because they smoke crack. So they have blowtorches and stuff.
Well, look how many houses we've seen burn down from like when they've been abandoned, and then people go in there and they smoke meth and crack and everything like
Whatever.
that, and they
And
fucking
what's
fall asleep and it burns it
modern
down.
so modern houses are full of copper wire.
Mm-hmm.
And so that typically doesn't matter like for a normal house fire like a kitchen fire or something.
Mm-hmm.
But for a lot of these houses in LA, they have these smart meters on the back, and those have a big old lithium battery on them.
Oh yeah.
And
So,
lithium burns like fucking crazy.
yeah, you can't put that shit out traditionally.
Not at all.
So
You can't.
look at like the fucking Tesla car fires they have.
You got to use halon to put it out. Like you got to remove the oxygen. That's really the only way to put them out, and they'll still keep.
Yeah,
lighting
because
on
it'll
fire.
it'll still fucking burn for like 2, 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
like,
was. There's a famous example is that big crash on Top Gear.
oh yeah,
The car spontaneously burst.
yeah, I know what
in
you're
the
talking
flame.
about.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
That shit burned for 5 days. They couldn't put it out.
Yet they seem to think that they're perfected enough to try to get everybody to switch to.
Yeah, but then so the issue is that these smart meters get hot from we'll call it the wildfire for continuity's sake. But they get hot, the battery fails, all these cells ignite, they burn at 3,200 degrees or something crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And that heat and Those smart meters are connected to the entire house, and copper wire is a fantastic conductor of heat.
Of course.
It's one of the best conductors of heat.
Mm-hmm.
So that shit just starts cooking the house from the inside, which is why you have all these houses that have burned down without trees burning down.
Yeah, man. Watching.
But all it would take is somebody to point a fucking strong. I could go buy a strong enough laser and point it at a smart meter long enough to set off the lithium battery.
Oh, of course. I mean, look at the ones that they're always selling on like Instagram and TikTok and all that. And it's
Yeah,
like,
the
yeah,
TikTok shop is like, oh,
like,
I can spend $20 and get a laser that burns through a deck of cards.
yeah, like so. I mean that. I mean, now I kind of understand why, like, you get caught shining that shit at a fucking airplane, your
You're
ass is
fucked.
toast. And
Well,
but
because one, it sets off so many alarms
oh
in
yeah,
the cockpit, and like so it just freaks people out. And like it does, like if you fucking blind somebody, because a lot of people don't know this about lasers, is they get it's not just a perfect beam; they get wider as they go.
yep,
That like no matter what, if I shine a laser and it goes a
it's
mile,
light.
it's
Yeah, no.
it's if it goes a mile away, the dot's gonna be like a meter
You want me to give you
diameter.
some LASIK surgery with
Yeah,
that?
because I have when I was overseas, it would be crazy to see like visible lasers on our rifles,
Yeah,
early as fuck in the morning.
because your PEC units don't. I mean, they use infrared lasers, don't they?
We have both. So there's visible and infrared.
Oh, okay.
Most people just use infrared. That's if they work, but they're supposed to have both.
Fair enough.
But I have my own pegs that I use for civilian side,
Mm-hmm.
and so one of those is like a bright ass like lightsaber green laser, and I would shine that bitch like across the desert, and it'd be like Star Wars shit. But after a certain while, like the dot just gets huge.
Mm-hmm. Because it just tends to.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's focused, but like the air, dust, everything's gonna mildly diffract it,
No, that makes sense. Yeah.
and then it's just gonna keep growing. It's a cone. That's why, like, if you, like for instance, like tanks use infrared lasers to get targeting range,
Yeah.
and so if you laze a tank directly, an alarm's gonna go off. But if you laze next to the tank, the alarm won't go off and you'll still get your range. But you have to adjust for that depending on how far it is, because if like tanks here, you're way back here. Laser, if you only point your laser right here, it's still gonna hit the tank.
Mm.
So you got to point
Okay.
like out here to make sure that he doesn't pick up that he's being lased. Because a lot of tanks nowadays have where if they get lased, it automatically just points directly at wherever that laser just came from.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm learning something new every day. I know what do you got pulled up on here?
I was just gonna talk about the wildfires,
Kind of.
because I mean it's just what everybody's talking about, and the shit looks fucking nutty. See what we got. Turn these back on so we can hear. That and Gavin Newscomb is a fucking piece of shit, and he's already trying to make money off of the tragedy. That looks
Is that
crazy though.
California's governor? No.
Gavin Newscomb,
Yeah.
Newcomb, Newscomb.
Newscomb.
Yeah, but he's a fucking piece of shit.
What kills me is like a lot of these like
Shit
thing.
looks so crazy though.
Oh, it
At
does.
night, like this is from the early. These are some of the early
Well,
shots.
the,
It should all be out now for the most part.
all these famous people that are up there in the hills and everything like that, and they're wanting people to make like donations to get their shit. Like your shit ain't covered from insurance. Like, come on.
You know what's
Like,
crazy is Mel Gibson was on the Joe Rogan podcast, like talking about how his house was burning down while he was doing the podcast, and then he went on like Fox called him or something for the news while they were filming like the debris of his house. He's like, "It's all just stuff. It's fine."
well, like I get
Yeah,
that.
I get that it's stuff to you. You're a fucking millionaire.
Like, there's a lot of things in there that can be replaced. Obviously, like if it was your house or my house or anything like that, there's a lot of shit that can be
That was
replaced.
his
But
17th house. Like
yeah,
if my first house burned down in the worst natural disaster that had ever hit the state, I'm blowing my head off.
like
I'm gonna grab a sticky thing and grab a cop's gun and just like Spider-Man and shoot myself
like
because my house would be the only thing I have because I'm whore.
Yeah, well, I get it. And like, I
So like they're so disconnected from reality by saying it's just stuff. Like yeah, it's just stuff to you. But for all the normal people, all the hundred thousands of normal people in LA that lost their
the thought
homes,
that's going through their head was like, oh yeah, it must be nice to be
everything.
able to feel that way.
And there's people there that like had rental properties that are fine and like they're price gouging like a motherfucker.
That's what I thought was hilarious the other day. Like they were covering the fire footage and they're like, "Oh yeah, P Diddy's house is still standing," and I'm like,
Of course,
"Of course." Like,
that motherfucker. Like this is like I mean kudos to the firefighters that were actually
oh
fighting
yeah, hundred
the
percent, yeah,
fire. Fuck everyone in their leadership though.
yeah.
Like these if I was these people, I would like if I lived in LA, if Dayton burned down, I would be trying to get pitchforks and I'd be going to whoever the fuck said turn the water off. I'd be going to their house
Yeah.
with pitchforks, not torches. Enough things have been burned, but a lot of fucking
I
pitchforks.
watched the guy
Fuck
that his house was up there, and he's like, "Yeah, the only thing that can save my house is the fucking sprinkler system." He's like, "That I bought off the Amazon for like $30," and I'm
Yeah, well, a
like,
lot of people a few fires ago figured out that if they just turn their sprinkler system, it'd be fine. Jesus, look at that. Look at it
"That's
just come over
fucking
the mountain.
crazy, man."
Yeah, I got friends. They're fine. None of them lost
Oh,
their
that's
homes.
good.
But, like,
But
this
that shit
is.
is just crazy, man. They like,
And it's like, look at this. It's like a straight line of destruction.
man, I couldn't imagine
See, it's
anything.
just literally a straight line
Oh
of
yeah,
destruction. I don't get it.
I don't either. Because what, I know like the wind carries like embers and it starts in other places and stuff like that. A lot of
20
these,
miles.
yeah, they're fucking sporadic though. It's like crazy.
20 miles they started. No,
And then,
a lot of this was intentional. I think a lot of this was to destroy evidence in LA and because LA is one of those proposed smart city areas. They're going to fucking turn that they burn down LA, they're going to like a phoenix from the ashes, rebuild a new city.
yep, we're gonna do everything high tech.
It's
Get
going to
us
be
more
a fucking
control.
it's going to be a surveillance city. It's going to be like fucking they're trying to
Watchdogs.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
going to
that's
be retarded.
exactly what it's gonna be. That's what I think of when you say that. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
smart city. Because smart is an acronym. It stands like surveillance, machine, artificial learning. Like it stands for something, but the first word is surveillance. They're going to do this everywhere. Because there's also
I.
the hyperloop that's supposed to start construction in like 5 years,
Oh yeah, it's
which
been a
is
while since
the
I heard about that.
yeah because there's
I know, I know.
nobody's talking about it, but the proposed plans are a lot of, like the one of the major intersection points is in the middle of where this area was destroyed. Which is why I think that because there's gonna be a fucking hyperloop intersection on up in Fairborn. They're gonna destroy half of Dayton here in the next 3 years.
Yeah,
Something, mark my words, something will happen. Dayton will lose another neighborhood. The tornado took out like three of them,
and that shit was fucking crazy. Like I
and they still haven't cleaned that shit up. That's
no,
all it
they're
need.
still
All
doing
it
it.
needs is we need a dry summer, and all of North Dayton will burn to the fucking ground.
That I'm telling you, man. I remember driving through on that, and it was crazy. Like I have never in person seen that much destruction. Like
It's
it
fucking
was
wild,
fucking
dude.
crazy.
And now like, we've got this going on across the country, and like the government immediately popped up and said, "Oh, we'll pay for everything." Meanwhile, in South Carolina, there's motherfuckers that aren't allowed to build a tiny home they paid $4,000 for because the county said you can't live in that. Fuck you! It's my
Yeah.
land. Like the
It
Amish are out there cranking out tiny houses to help all these displaced people, and like the government's coming in and trying to be like, you can't live here.
it's really, I don't know. We're due for a reset. I've told you that multiple times. We're due for a reset at some point,
Something,
man. We
something's got
are.
to happen, man. I mean, they're not doing the inauguration in public this year.
I didn't know. I did not know that.
Tomorrow, like they were gonna hold it in the Capitol building, but it just got moved to inside the White House, like the White House press room.
That's a first. Yeah.
You know that New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Maryland, and I believe North Carolina sent National Guard units to DC to provide security. Like my old unit in Greenville, Ohio has been in DC for a week. New York has had National Guard in DC for 2
I
weeks.
mean, I guess considering that the amount of attempts that's been made on that on his life, I understand it.
Yeah, I know.
Look, I mean, here's
I
just
get that point, but also like they're expecting a terrorist attack
oh, of course they are.
because they asked for 900 CLS combat life saving and like emergency primary care people. 900.
God, I hope we're wrong, dude. I really are.
It's
I
tomorrow,
really am.
man. I'm
I
hoping that
know.
tomorrow everything will be fine and on Tuesday we can just talk about nothing. I hope,
I hope,
but
man.
I got a weird feeling.
I know, and I've had this. It just
Everybody's holding their breath right now. That's why the country feels weird. Everybody's holding their breath waiting for something bad to
I
happen.
told you when those fucking hurricanes happened down there in the Carolinas and West Virginia and Tennessee and all those places that it just that something was coming. And I told you that so many times, and you agreed with me.
Yeah. I mean,
And
this is going on too. So we just organized this ceasefire
yeah, I
in
did see that this
Israel.
morning. Yeah, when I was
And
watching
they're
the
like, "Well, the
news.
ceasefire doesn't start until Sunday." And the ceasefire deal was created on Friday. So Saturday morning, they just bombed the shit out of a bunch of. Look at this.
That
Those are fucking. That's a hospital.
yeah.
It's like, look at
Well,
all these. This was somebody's house.
well,
Look at this shit.
not only that. I mean, did you see that a ballistic missile got dropped in the middle of fucking Ukraine by Russia
Yep.
today? And
Ukrainians are getting their shit rocked in all this close combats. The Russians are tearing them
oh,
apart.
now I did see something the other day that I thought was really interesting. The
Oh, look at all
that's
these
so
people.
that's
Look at all
fucked,
these fucking
man.
people that the Israelis killed after saying, "Yeah, we're gonna stop killing them, but not till Sunday."
It Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
Sunday, 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 you might live. Let's
But
find out. And they killed like 70 fuck. Look at this.
that's such a shame,
Five.
dude.
5 years old.
That's so fucking sad. That is, man. Like,
Fucking and look at this. This is what it's
look
like
how
living
bad
over
that they're
there.
scrambling for food and everything, dude.
Look at this.
That's like the
And this is
shit that
what
you
this is
see
what
out of the.
Israel's bombing. This is what they bomb. They go, "Oh, look, there's a large crowd of people. There's probably some terrorists in there."
Did you get around to
Bing.
watching Civil War like I told you?
No, I don't have time to watch shit.
Oh no, like what you just showed me right there looked like the very first scene from that fucking movie. And I don't give a shit what nobody says. It was a great movie.
I'm
And
sure it's
like
visually a great movie. It's like a Michael Bay movie.
and I mean it's probably the more realistic movie that I've seen of what could happen. But the like
Well, that's what it is. It's programming.
yeah,
It's trying to get people ready for it.
and I'm okay with that. I mean, because that kind of makes you prepared to be like, okay, fine, that's what fucking happens, and
Well, when we turn this off here in a minute, I'll show you what I got going on.
well, like the very first scene of that movie, it looked like just what you showed me. The
Yeah,
people
this
getting like the
people
pots and pans,
scrambling for food.
scrambling, and they're trying to get water from a fucking water supply truck, and the truck gets blown up.
Yep.
A fucking attack by one of the fucking Federation is what it is, I think.
Yeah,
And
one of the fucking
yeah, one of the
groups of people trying
coalitions.
to take over. That's what, dude. You need to start playing the Division again if you really want to get immersed in that world because that's
I got
all it
it.
is.
I've been playing. Like, I love it. It's
That's all
awesome.
it is. I love it. It's very fun, but the environment of the Division is what I expect all of our major cities to look
Dude,
like in 10 years.
the whole idea that they spread that disease with currency, like for the story, was fucking genius. Like
And it's all based on
yeah,
real directives.
I
Like
know.
every directive that they talk about does exist.
Like, that was probably the most plausible way
Even
I've seen of like some shit happening like that.
even the way like the story goes, where there's like this group that's supposed to be helping people and the government's like saving the world, but inside that group of the good guys there's a smaller group of bad guys that are secretly just trying to spread more division and get more money.
Yeah,
It's literally what goes on now.
that's true. But the fact,
There's the big government that says they're doing the right thing, and then there's the small group of people spread throughout the
well,
whole thing that's actually poisoning it.
you had that, and then the fact that they spread it on money during Black Friday. That was like, oh wow, they put some good thought into this one. Like,
And
you're
I think they chose the concept of using cash specifically because it's not that common anymore.
Mhm.
So that's part of the like throw it off. It's like, oh well, this will never happen. They'll spread it on if they spread it in money like in this game. Nobody uses cash that bad.
Yeah, and
But if you play through the game, there's instances of people like that have all this contaminated money and they're told to burn it, and they're like, man, fuck that. I
yeah.
got a duffel bag with $3 million in it. I'm gonna take it home.
Hmm.
And then people get sick, and it's what always is the downfall. Is going to be people's greed. Like when all this shit starts kicking off, avoid the WalMarts because that's
Yeah,
where people are going to die.
you're right. Well, it's like when I worked there during COVID, and it was like you know and the whole thing that pissed me off about the whole situation was like, okay, fine, fuck it. You're not gonna work in the garage on people's cars because it's a safety risk because of cross contamination and spreading and all that. But fuck that. We're gonna make you stand on a floor and protect pallets of toilet paper and paper towels.
Yeah,
And it's like you just effectively put me somewhere where I'm gonna come in contact with
direct
four
contact.
4 to 5 times the amount of what I would deal with in a day being in that garage. It made no fucking
Well,
sense.
none of the
Like,
COVID restrictions made sense. Even Dr. Fauci came out himself and admitted I was just making it up as I was going along. None of that shit
yeah,
worked,
but it was just the
and
whole.
nothing's happening to him.
Yeah, I know. The whole idea was just asinine, and that's like when they're like, "Okay, fine, fuck it, we're not going to penalize you if you don't come to work." Okay, fine, fuck it. I gotta go fishing. That's what I did. I just went fishing. I worked like 2 days a week.
I was overseas,
So,
so I still did my normal thing. But like I just watched the country crumble through my smartphone.
dude, shit. I hope the Jesus, man. And it was like,
And it's coming back.
what
Don't
I
worry.
know,
They're spraying bird flu around from the chemtrails or whatever
dude.
the fuck they're
The
doing.
worst part was it was the way that people acted.
Like
Like
savages.
they were like when they put us out on that floor and we had to like, you got people who are working in automotive or the electronics department or whatever that, and they're saying, yeah, fuck it, you're gonna stand here and you're gonna guard this shit, even though you're not part of AP, and you can't touch a customer, you can't do anything. You know what the fuck do you want me to do? Just stand here and look pretty? That's all you're doing. But
That's all
then,
I would do. I'd be like, stop.
oh no, like,
Don't do it. Hey, throw one in my car.
and it just
Like, bro, I'll let you walk out this shit right now if you throw one in my trunk.
all the years that we worked for that company, man, I never seen people act like that even on a Black Friday.
Yeah,
This
Black
shit was
Friday was like I
crazy.
thought was like the dregs of American society was Black
Oh
Friday, just with
God,
like behavior and stuff. But no, COVID is real, and even like everything that happened after COVID, like the fucking brain damage it did to people is like in the short term is still echoing to this day. Like
dude.
people will walk around if you say anything negative about like what was done during COVID, they act like you're a fucking terrorist.
Oh, I know. I trust me. And I've got a couple people that I know that fucking
The
act like that.
what so like in the theme of this, since we're gonna end this here in a second after I'm done talking with my point here, and then we're gonna record again on Tuesday,
Hmm.
the day after the inauguration. So we're gonna have a pretty good
Yep,
idea of what's going on in
exactly.
about 48 hours. But I really feel like tomorrow is like a big make or break point in the sense that America is like a good friend of ours that recently OD'd.
Yeah.
We need some Narcan.
Yep.
The nation needs Narcan. And I hope that tomorrow we get a little jet of it so we can kind of start springing back to life.
Yeah. The only thing I can say is
Or
that
tomorrow we rail another perk 30 and a bomb
yeah,
goes off in the White House.
yeah. And I'm telling you, man, like I've seen a couple things today about like the whole TikTok situation. It was down for 12 hours. And then, like I just showed you.
12
Yeah.
hours. 12 hours and people went and got fucking radicalized by a Chinese communist government.
Oh, dude, what made it even better was like everybody that was on that was like, fuck it. I'm going to go to Red Note if I can't have TikTok, which Red Note is just like TikTok, but the whole language is all Chinese.
Yeah, it's all Mandarin.
Like,
and you have to agree to follow the communist government laws.
it's nuts. And they were like, fuck it. If I can't have this, we're going to go to this. And then I see a senator last night be like, okay, if the American people think they're going to flood the Red Note because we're taking away TikTok, we're going to do that too. We're going to get rid of that too. And I'm just thinking, man, you were purposely trying to cause people to fucking riot. And but the fact that within 12 hours that man hasn't even been in office yet, and look at the shit that he did with that fucking fast. And it was like I've seen people be like, oh, this was his plan all along. He got it banned and then he come in and save the day. And I'm like, you are a fucking idiot. Like,
the idea was never to ban it. The idea was to get an American company to buy it.
yeah.
And that hasn't happened yet. So they need to try to give them a chance to let it happen.
Hello.
We're about to wrap up.
Yep.
Plugs?
Yeah.
Plugs?
Yep. Check it out. Lost Paladin Plays on YouTube. And then we also, the streaming stuff together for what I'm doing is coming together slowly, but a little bit more.
Yeah, your
slower
family
than I thought.
Your family needs to fuck off.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that with my birthday coming up this week, that I can, with my time away,
at least get some footage.
Yeah, that I would like to do that. And
yeah, I got some footage. I just got to cut it together. It's probably one of the things I'll do after this. But I'm Scarecrow Games on YouTube. This is achievement.
Nope, game challenges.
Game challenges.
But again, I'm thinking about changing that. But if we do, we'll be updating it on here.
Oh yeah, no, this is fluid. We're doing this again in 2 days.
Yep.
All right. Deuces.
See ya.
Shut